So let's start with the breathing, and what I want to do with the breath is we're going to get that hip width distance, feet a little wider than our shoulders. Don't get too far out there. We're not, getting ready to catch a baseball in shortstop position. Or you get too far out there and you're going to make your hips really sore. So you want to just that far, and I'm going to put my stomach in and back when I'm breathing. So I call this a lengthening breath. So my stomach, normally you would breathe and the belly comes out, and then you come back in, and that's diaphragmatic breathing. That's the kind of breathing that you would do at a Tai Chi class or a yoga class. What I like about a lengthening breath with your stomach going back and down is it makes you taller. It makes you engage these lower back muscles, which is good for some of the soreness that's happening back there. It's very common for people with Parkinson's to be a little bit forward leaning, and they get a lot of lumbar pain. So we're going to engage those muscles, and by lengthening, by making ourselves longer and taller, we actually increase our ability to communicate, because we're going to get a better column of air, we're going to have better mobility of the ribs, and at the same time I'm going to be aiming my voice towards your ears, towards your face, rather than towards your stomach. Okay, it'll be easier to hear that way. So I'll demo one like this. I might pop into the chair just to make sure everyone has a chance to do it, but let me do a couple sideways ones here. You're going to breathe with me, and you just put your hands on your stomach right below the rib cage. My thumbs are actually on the very bottom ribs. And you're just going to inhale, and you're going to feel that stomach going back and down. Ready? As you're getting taller and taller, then just exhale, nice and easy. Try to breathe in through your nose if you can. It'll be easier. When you breathe in and out through your mouth, not only do you dry things out, you kind of activate your nervous system a little bit in a bad way. Because the last time you were breathing in and out that far much in the past, you're being chased by like a lion or something like that, like 100,000 years ago. So go ahead and put your thumb there. We're going to do a couple where I won't talk so much. Watch what I do with my hands when I come down here and I open them up. I'm bringing my shoulder blades together. My thumbs are up, and it's just to stretch and open up the ribs. Okay, here we go. Ready, folks? Very good. Put it right back there if you can. I'm not doing any work here. I feel like I'm just straightening out this shirt. I'm really just doing this to remind myself that my stomach's not going to go out like it normally would, but it's going to get longer and taller and make me more upright. Okay? Let me do one here in the chair. If you're seated in the chair, you want to be a little bit forward so you're not leaning against the back of it. And I have one hand on one knee, one hand on the other, and I'm using that to make me more upright. I'm using that to keep me more upright, so there's points of contact. And it's the same lengthening breath. You go inhale and your stomach goes back and down. And you could put your hands there if you want and do the same stretch, okay? Good. Matter of fact, I'll stay seated here as I introduce the next exercise. So that lengthening breath is what I'm going to use pretty much through all of these exercises. It's not the kind of breath you would do in an exercise class. You're working with your physical therapist, and you're getting worked up, and you're going to get you to the Borg level of 8, so you're working hard, your effort level. You're going to breathe the way you normally did with your stomach coming in and out like that. Okay, this is much more about posture, breath support, and strengthening some of those muscles. It's not the normal breath, but we'll do it through most of this activity today. So we'll do a couple more of those. Okay, and this time when you come out, you're gonna blow out the candles. It's like I have a birthday cake maybe about 10 feet away, and I'm just trying to see if I can blow out one of the 50 candles that are on that cake. That's a way to add resistance. It's the speech version of picking up some weights and, pumping iron, which you can tell I don't do very much of. So we'll do it just for blowing out the candles. Here we go. Ready? And then blow out those candles. And again. This will be easier right in the center here. You get a nice tight fist here, and you're going to open and close. You can stay seated for this. We're going to get to something where we can do it in the seated position, but you open as you inhale, and then you close, blowing out the candles. Now, if you're starting to get a little bit dizzy or lightheaded, cut it down a little bit. You don't have to keep up with me tempo-wise, and you don't have to give 110% effort-wise. We're just trying to increase the effort. We're trying to increase the load. This comes from some research where we do expiratory muscle strength training, resistive training, actually threshold training, and that is why I'm trying to give you a little more effort. It seems to improve volume, improve some other functions. It actually improves swallowing function, but that's another story. So let's try a couple with this open and close, and then I'll change to the next graphic. So you got your hands nice and tight here in the middle. Don't be relaxed. We're going to open them up. Blow out the candles. If that's too tight, you can open it up a little bit. Try it again. Try to not let your cheeks puff out like Dizzy Gillespie, the trumpet player. You don't want that. You want it tight here and strong. We're going to keep those muscles strong. Let's do one more like that. And let me switch to a screen that has some numbers on it, and I'll go back to my chair. Okay. So let me just spatially set this up. Okay. So I have a pretend clock behind me now, and all we're going to do, we're going to start where we left off there with the 3 and the 9. You're going to have those two tight fists in the middle, and then exhale. Good. Now, bring one elbow up, and I don't care which one it is because we're going to do them both. So I'm starting with my right elbow up, but don't feel like you got to match me. I'm trying to get to 11 and 5. I think that feels pretty good. Everything's an approximation, so if you don't nail it, it's okay. I'm just gonna grab it here. I'm gonna take my mouse with me here so I can do it from down here. Okay, this is why I have everyone muted, just because we'd hear everyone coming in. Okay, now I'm putting the other elbow up. I was here. Now I'm putting here. Same lengthening breath. The hands are wide open and when they're all the way out, and then blow those candles out. Looks good again. Good. Now we're going to go to like 10 and 2, like we've got a huge steering wheel here, right? So we'll start here. And now if this makes anyone's shoulders sore, you need to do it a little bit less. You can do it like this if you need to. You do it whatever's comfortable. We're just trying to mobilize these ribs for breathing. But for the rest of us, see if you can make it. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get to 11 and 1 now. That's not how I drive, but it looks a little bit better, I think. Okay, now let's go down in 5 and 7. We'll do the other way. Good. So just go down. You're just trying to open them up. Now let's go back to the center. This would be 3 and 9, but let's do like 3 and maybe 12. Okay, we'll do 3 o'clock. So one goes up, one goes over. Good. Let's try that again. Keep after that lengthening breath. If you'll want to go back to the old ways, and I'm just for this 1/2 hour, you can do it the other way. Now I'm going to go 9 and 12. Ready? I'm a little spatially challenged, so sometimes I don't. Here we go. Good. Now maybe we'll go back to 3 and 7. There you go. All we're really trying to do is just try some combinations while we're maintaining focus on that same lengthening breath. Now we'll do the other opposite, 9 and 5. Working 9 to 5. There we go. Good. Good. So that's the basics for the breathing. There's more ways to handle this, and again, each week I'll start with some of the same concepts. I'll be building on it, so it won't be the same explanation each time, although the concepts will be reintroduced all 10 times, and we'll build on this. It's time now to move on to the voice. So I'm going to change my slide. If you want to grab a little bit of water, we're going to get started. Always when I'm starting voice work, I will probably do this standing up because I have better breath support. Again, everything can be done seated, so don't worry. There's no social pressure, there's no peer pressure. I always like to start the voice work with humming, and it's because you really can't hum aggressively. You can't hum with tension. Sometimes I'll go into a class and I'll hear people shouting or screaming, and they're really bringing it out there, and I admire the effort, but the way that affects your voice is actually not healthy. It actually grinds it down a little bit, and it's harder to make a clear voice when you have too much tension. That ties into pretty much everything we know about swinging a baseball bat or a tennis racket. And also, if you play a musical instrument, I used to play bass, it's all about putting the right amount of weight and letting your body do the rest of it and not working too hard. And that's kind of what we're going to do with our voicing. We want to get a nice column of air. We've opened up these ribs. We're just going to push it through and hum loudly. We're not humming a song we heard on the radio, but we're going to hum with a volume, but without effort. I want always, with all this stuff, I want the most sound you can produce with the least amount of effort. So this is not think loud, which is great. I love LSVT. This is not speak with intent, speak out, the other people down there. I like them both. This is give me as best that you can do without feeling like that you're giving 110% and shouting and having to fight for it. Okay, we don't want that. So let's start with humming. We're going to go in through your nose with the same lengthening breath. And just hum. Ready? Hum. I should have told you that you're welcome to turn on your microphones if you want to. I'd love to hear some of your voices. We're going to try to hold that for at least 20 seconds or more. David, I have a glitch in the matrix here. I use a green screen. This is all fake. Okay, this is not my lovely apartment. This is actually all the magic of television or whatever. And when I'm loud enough, when I'm quiet, it's red, and you can see that, right? And when I'm loud enough, it turns green, and you can barely see it. It's like wearing a green shirt. So I'll have to find the other program and use that. But it's okay. We don't need it really. We're just having fun with this right now. So let's start with the humming. You're going to hold it for as long as you can, and you're going to make it last nice and clean. But once you're out of air, you're done. Okay? Take another breath and jump back in. Don't fight the urge to try to squeeze out the last couple seconds. That's exactly what we don't want. That's like it's like I have a garden hose and I'm watering the garden, and it's like, oh, I want to get those flowers over there, and I'll put my thumb over the edge of the hose and I'll spray it there. Well, that's going to make that water come out with too much force. It's going to kill those flowers. That's what we don't want. I just want you to turn up the water. I want you to add more air. Okay, so let's do the humming again. Ready? In through your nose. Hum. Hum. People run out of air. So if you want to keep it that long, if some of you are in maybe a choir or something like that, you might actually be able to beat me. But for the most part, you want to do it as long as you can cleanly. And if you run out before we're all done, just take another breath and come back in with us. Okay? Don't worry. It's not a competition. Let's try one more time with the hum.
John, towards the end, it starts feeling gravelly in the throat. You know.
Okay.
So stop and take another breath when that starts.
Exactly. It's kind of like we're cutting the crusts off of our sandwich. We only want the good part. We don't want the parts at the end where you got to fight for it. We don't want that. It's just like hum. I want only the good stuff. Okay. Yeah. And also, I'm a guy. I'm a 50-year-old man. You don't have to match my pitch. So if you like a higher pitch, it's okay. We'll sound like a choir. So yeah, don't have to be my exact pitch. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Now we're going to go to the second part. We're going to use the parted lips. So you're going to just, looks like I'm playing a flute when I do this. It's like, you're just going to give your lips a little bit of opening. That's going to increase the amount of vibration a lot. These will actually maybe even get a little itchy because you'll be vibrating so much. That's what I want. That's the frontal focus. That's the sound we're trying to shoot for. All that vibration just means more sound with less effort. So let's try that with the parted lips. Here we go, in through your nose. Sounds good. Okay. I'll tell you what, we're going to go to one more piece. As I'm looking, I want to make sure I get all the pieces in today because we're going to build on them all. So let's go to the rounded lips. And the rounded lips is pretty close to the parted lips. All you're going to do is make it more of an O. But if you hear when I'm doing it, it has a buzziness. It's going to go. When you're doing it, it sounds vibrational like that. And that's just the sound that we're trying to go for. Let's try it with the rounded lips. Same thing. Ready?
Go ahead.
I hear a couple people going down. I gave you a demo of that. We're going to do those glides in a minute. Try to stay on one pitch. It'll be more work to control it. You're going to just try to get, and it'll be the same pitch all the way through. Try it one more time. Ready? Last one of these. Sounds good, guys. Sounds good. Again, we're not super loud, but we're getting a good clean sound. And anybody who's using the app like Matt or whatever, you might try to see if you can keep that ball right in the middle there, because that means the pitch isn't going up and down very much. Now we'll go to the next part of this, guys, and we're going to do what we call glides. Glides show up a ton in a lot of different speech therapy.
Here, you want to be on?
LTT loud. You'll have done loud ah, where you go from low note to a high note and high note to low note. We're going to do it a little bit different. I learned this approach from a speech therapist many years ago. Actually, as a patient of his before I became a speech therapist. So we're going to use a word. We're going to use a keyword. There we go. Whoop. Spatial logic here. Whoop. And it's going to sound like a siren. And again, we're using that same sound we used before, that woo. And when I do it right, it goes whoop. And I go way up high. Yeah, I know I'm a guy. I still want 850 hertz or whatever. And we should all use that because we use that pitch up and down. That's how we add more emotion to the language. That's how we sound more connected, and we ask questions, and we talk in sequences, and it makes it much more enjoyable. So let's try it all together. Let's go from a low note to a high note. The word is whoop, and we're going to use that same kind of that we did before, okay? So get ready to go to falsetto with me, guys. Here we go. Ready? And having the P up there is helping as you go, yeah, it blows it off there. Good, good. Nice and rounded, no effort, guys. We're just putting the air in and we're going. If you find yourself getting stuck somewhere, usually it's where your voice changes from the head natural voice to the falsetto. Move a little quicker. We'll do one more of these and then we're going to move on to the other side of it. So you're just going to go from a low note to a high note. The word is whoop. Here we go. saw you. I will add that movement. I'm probably not going to do it today because I think it'd be too complicated, but I saw what you're doing there. You're absolutely right. Okay, so now we're going to go the other way. The word is boo. So we start high, we end low, and it goes boo.
Going down.
Okay, now when you get down to that bottom bar, ooh, it's easy to get tight, so you'll hear me go ooh, ah. And that ah is just there to keep us from getting any tension, okay? So let's try it all together. Nice high note to low note. The word is boo until you see me morph it into the ah at the bottom. Yeah, good, yes. Don't worry, I'm the only one on camera, so no one's going to see this. No one's going to look crazy except me. It's okay. This is a lot of speech therapy world sometimes. You have to do these kind of things, and I understand it, but I'm happy to do it on camera, and no one else has to worry about it. Let's try it again in through your nose. Sounds like the last part sounds like you're going, ha. Let's try one of those. You don't have to, you can do the orange if you want, but I really just want the ha. I had someone last week, she's like, it's like you're a 15-year-old being sarcastically bored. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. Yeah, I remember those days. Looks like ha. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so now we're going to take that and we're going to go into the next part of this to make some voices. Kind of wrapping it up, but I might go a minute or two over just to show one last part of this. But follow along with me, guys. We're going to just stick the humming that we were doing, and we're going to turn into an ah. So when my left hand is on top, that's the ah. I'm just going to get back so you can see the whole thing here. Now I feel like I'm climbing onto the wall here. Okay, left hand on top.
It's most of the people.
Oh. That sound we just did, and then side by side, it's the E sound. And the theme with the E is you want to make it really nasal. You don't want to fight. You don't want to grind it out. So just follow with me. This should be pretty straightforward. You'll see it as it happens. Here we go. In through your nose, big lengthening breath. Anytime you're out of air, wherever you are, just take another breath. Don't feel like you got to maintain it. Now we're going to go to the O. I'm not shouting. I'm not fighting this. I mean, I'm full Pavarotti here, but I'm just putting air through. So this is not, I'm yelling across the football field. This is just big sound. Here we go. Let's do it with the O. Ready? Good. Let's try some dynamics. We're going to start quiet, louder, 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 and when my hands are all the way open, again, I'm as loud as I'm going to be. But that's coming from just using a lot of ha, a lot of air. I'm not shouting. I'm not trying to get it over to somebody there and hear me across the parking lot. So here we go. Ready? Now let's do it with the O. Ready?
Hard, huh?
You should be able to open your voice like that and push the air out and not feel like at the end of it, like, I'm dead, I'm done, I can't believe I did that. It should be able to stretch those muscles out, and at the end of this, I'm hoping at the end of every class, you feel like it's turned on a little bit. It's like you got out of a class with somebody making you do that kind of voice work, and that's what I'm looking for. So don't be gentle, don't fight, but don't be afraid to make it full, like you're doing a Pavarotti. You're really just, I mean, you're really bringing it out, because I think that's something that happens in Parkinson's. We get quieter and quieter. Okay, so I'm going to go into one other thing. I know it's 5:30 on the dot. Anyone who has to leave, you can check this out. But I always like to have a little bit of functional exercise at the end. I'm just going to have us counting real quickly so you can hear us. And so what all we're going to do is we're going to count from 1 all the way down to 10, bring it right back to 0. And I want that all in one breath. I want it loud, and I want it clear. So don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want it to sound like the end of a cell phone commercial, okay? I want it 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're going to do it in one breath, okay? So here we go. Ready, folks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Did everyone do that? But that was okay? Everyone can do it on one breath?
Yes.
Anybody have trouble with it, that's your first step, but I think most of us can handle it. Now let's try it by 2. So we're going to go 2 to 20, and then 18 back down to 0. Okay, let's try it. Ready? Big breath through your nose, lengthening breath. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Still doable, but a little harder, right? Because it's a little more cognitive. That's why I have them written here, because I'm not expecting anyone to be a math genius, okay? And when we get to 7s and stuff, I'll be looking at you. You'll see, like, his eyes aren't looking in the camera anymore because he's seeing you. Okay. Let's try the next one, and then I might put a video on at the end, okay? So we're going to do 3s, 3 to 30, 27 back down to 0. What I like about this is 10, and this is 10, and if I'm doing an exercise in a gym or something like that, where the left side, right side, there's a set of 10 and there's a set of 10, and I can count and make a little cognitive load out of it. But for now, we're just going to worry about the voice. So let's try it together. Ready for 3 to 30 and back down to 0. Here we go. Ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 27, 24, 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 16, 0. It's at the end. You'll see me at the end. I'll just change my posture a little bit. Good. Last thing we're going to do, I have this set on the video, and then I'll wrap it up. I know we're going a little bit over, but I just want to have this for the first one because it's a nice, easy one to do over and over that you can practice on your own. So when it pops up here, get ready to do it. We'll take a big breath, and the next one will come after that, and the next one will come after that, and the next one will come after that, okay? So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Take a breath. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 6, 4, 2, 0. Good. Next breath. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21, 24, 27, 30, 27, 24, 21, 18, 9, 6, 0. Take a big enough breath. Okay, try it again. Next one. 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 40, 35, 30, 20, 10, 5, 0. Better. Of course, that's easier. Here we go. Here's the struggle. 7, 14, 28, 35, 42, 59, 56, 60, 70, 60, 66, 49, 42, 35, 28, 21, 14, 7, 0. Right out of time. Perfect. Okay, that's it. Go. I'll stop here for now, and I'll open it up. Did anyone have any questions, anything I can answer before we get off? I will be making a video of this. You will all get a link. You can practice on your own.